program here this evening. Once again, welcome to the 2025 Harrison High School Athletic Hall of Fame ceremony. I am Mark Mivers, your Assistant Principal Athletic Director at Harrison High School. I've been told at this time we are going to have a brief speech from none other than the Hall of Fame Membership Chairman, Mr. Mark Dole. Round of applause.
You notice he said brief. That was wishful thinking. So I'd like to welcome everybody tonight on behalf of the Hall of Fame and the Hall of Fame Committee. I'd also like to welcome our inductees, Wesley Taylor, Annie Robin Hagemeyer, Alex Hutchinson, and Shane Page. And we realize that most of these people have been on the list for a long time, and we've got some young people in the Hall of Fame now, but it takes a long time to get all the old people in, and now we're working on the younger ones. So we're making progress, and we hear about it every year. So just so everybody knows, we still have a huge list of people waiting to get in the Hall of Fame, and every year we have a meeting to vote on them, and all the Hall of Fame people. The people that are in the Hall of Fame are eligible to vote for the upcoming class of the Hall of Fame. And this year, after tonight, we'll have 125 members in the Hall of Fame, and there's usually 15 or 20 people that show up to vote. So if you know somebody that wants to get in the Hall of Fame and that's deserving, get somebody that's in the Hall of Fame to come vote for them. So. Tonight, I'd like to recognize the members that are in attendance: Craig Bachman, Andy Banks, Jerry Bovard, Sandy Brickner, Doug Dole, Mark Dole, Jeff Elrod, Dave Metz, Denny Quachtemire, Vance Reed, Chris Ruther, Steve Safford, Denny Schultz, Denny Steelman, Patty Van Cleve, Greg Zuliger, and Brittany Wilson Farley may show up. She bought a ticket, but she coaches track at Princeton, and they had a meet tonight. So is there anybody I missed? I'd also like to mention the Hall of Fame people members that have passed away in the last year. Bud Elrod at the ripe old age of 99. Don Morris, Gene Ziegler, Coke Powers. Phyllis Wolf was a special mention honoree a few years back. She passed away last June. And also Joanne Bill passed away. Her and her husband Tom were recognized last year as special recognition. Probably we wouldn't be here tonight if it wasn't for them. They were instrumental in starting the Hall of Fame back in 1996. So like everybody to remember them and their thoughts. The Hall of Fame was started in 1996 by the Harrison Boosters. It's one of the oldest continuously active Hall of Fames in the city. This is our 28th annual year. After tonight, we'll have 125 inductees. We have a scholarship fund that was created from a couple fundraisers we had, but mostly from our golf outing, which we have since turned over to the athletic boosters. I'd like to also mention that Jim McGregor was very instrumental in starting the golf outing. He passed away also last year, right before we had the induction ceremony. But we have a pretty tidy sum of money that will fund the female and male athlete scholarships to the tune of $1,500 for several years to come. When Gene Ziegler passed away, his wife Molly decided to donate the memorials to the Hall of Fame Scholarship Fund, and there was around $3,500 collected for that, so that boosted our proceeds some too. All Hall of Fame inductees and members are voting members for the inductees. This year's committee was 15 members. We are run by a set of bylaws. We want this year's inductees to get involved and help run the club. I'd like to thank Jody, Lindy, and Rosalie for manning the door, which they've done for several years. But this year was a little bit different. Mac passed away last year. We had regular meetings. Dave, Art Vanderpool, Dave Metz, Art Vanderpool, and I and Jim McGregor would get together on a regular basis. But this year, really kudos go to Dave and Cindy Metz. They pretty well put this on their own. So give them a big round of applause. Especially Cindy. She didn't even go to Harrison High School, and I think she's the brains of the outfit. But anyway, she does a heck of a job, and Dave does too. So I mean, without very much help from anybody else, they basically put this thing on. So big thanks to them. I'd also like to give a shout out to the Harrison High School Alumni Association. I received an email from Jeff Biddle's daughter, Molly. She sends out every year. Melissa Shunk is the president of the Alumni Association, and most of the people in here are Harrison High School alumni. So I'd like to read just the first paragraph. On behalf of the William Henry Harrison High School Alumni Association, I would like to invite you to attend our annual dinner and meeting on Saturday, May 31st, 2025, to be held at the William Henry Harrison High School in the Commons beginning at 6 p.m. with dinner. We will be celebrating memories with our fellow schoolmates, honoring some of the talented new graduates by awarding scholarships and recognizing 4 very special distinguished alumni. Dinner will be presented by Sullivan's Catering. The Harrison Bakery will provide dessert. This is the longest continuing alumni meeting in the United States, Harrison High School. So that's something to be proud of, and if you all can come, it'd be greatly appreciated. And I'd also like to thank the people. I mean, Jeff Biddle's been instrumental in it, but Melissa Ramsey and Jeff's daughter and several other people have kept this thing going all these years. And, you know, Phyllis Wolf was very instrumental in it. She did everything at the high school, and after she retired for 50 or 60 years or whatever. So that's a great thing. So if you all can make it, or if you want me to forward the email, just look me up and after the thing, and I'll forward it to you. I'd also like to take a minute to thank Pat and Cindy Noyes. They're our special recognition people for tonight. They've done so much for the school, for athletics. They were both in the class of 72, and I mentioned to Cindy earlier that I think we have the biggest turnout from the class of 72 here tonight of any class. So congratulations. Thank you very much for all you've done. And I think that's, did I miss any Hall of Famers tonight? There is one more Hall of Famer, I think, that I overlooked, but he's not from Harrison. It's Glenn Crocker. Lawrenceburg High School Hall of Fame, 2022, and I think he's also an Indiana officiating state high school Hall of Fame, and that's Cindy Noyes' brother. So let's give Glenn a big round of applause. We've been trying to get a few East Central guys here, but I can never get them to show up. So thanks a lot, and we'll continue with the program.
All right, we're now ready for the first presenter of the 2025 Harrison High School Athletic Hall of Fame. That presenter will be Mr. Chris Baird. Please come up at this time, Mr. Chris Baird.
Good evening. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Chris Baird, and I'm a teacher at Harrison High School for about 30 years, close to it. I've had the honor of coaching several members of the Harrison High School Hall of Fame and worked beside a lot of others. It's a great group of people, for sure. It's my honor and privilege to be with you here tonight to induct Wesley Taylor into the Harrison High School Athletic Hall of Fame. I've championed Wesley Taylor's induction to our beloved Hall of Fame, not just because of his athletic successes, which are numerous, but because Wesley is Harrison. He is exactly what Harrison that I came to know when I got here in 1997 is. The hardworking, blue-collar, tough-as-nails community that holds themselves and their children accountable to give their best in all things at all times. Wesley comes from a blue-collar, hardworking family that knows that working hard and earning what you have is how to get ahead in life. Wesley would not be the man that he is today without the lessons ingrained by getting his hands dirty, doing whatever project his dad Bob had, the Taylor kids growing up, landscaping jobs, fixing equipment, loading and unloading, mulch, physical, get your hands dirty and your knuckles bloody kind of jobs. Wesley's mom, Bonnie, demonstrated the value of putting in a hard day's work in her days as a postal worker. Rain or shine, sick or healthy, she worked. Wesley's siblings watched Wes's lessons turned into hard work at school and sports, and they too followed his steady and quiet leadership. I have known many excellent student athletes at Harrison High School in my time here, and I'm quite confident in saying that there are not very many like Wesley Taylor. Athletics is only a part of who Wesley is, but here are his accomplishments as a Harrison athlete. In track, he earned 3 varsity letters. He was a 4-time conference place winner in both the shot and discus. He was a 4-time district placer and a 2-time Dayton regional qualifier. He was a 3-year letterman in football. He was first-team All-FAVC his senior year, and he was second-team All-Cincinnati in the Cincinnati Enquirer. Wrestling is where Wesley really shined as a high school athlete. He also earned 3 letters there, so he had 9 letters. 3 sport athletes are pretty impressive guys that can manage, guys and ladies that can manage that. He was a team captain for us. He was a 3-time conference champion. He was the FAVC Wrestler of the Year. He was honorable mention All-City for 2 years, and he was first-team All-Cincinnati for 1 year. He was a 3-time state qualifier. He placed 5th as a junior and 4th as a senior at the heavyweight weight class. He was a member of the Ohio Junior National Wrestling Team, and he still holds the record for the fastest pin in the state tournament at 9 seconds. And Coach Dennis will tell you he got robbed because that pin was no faster than 5 seconds. He put that kid on his back so fast, we looked over the clock and it was still running. He was a scholarship wrestler at the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga, which is a Division I wrestling program. I stole a quote from a legendary track coach, Greg Zuliger, about Wes when he and I talked about Wes being nominated for the Hall of Fame. And this is Greg's quote. Wes is remembered for his outstanding work ethic, his leadership, as well as his grit and determination. Wesley exemplified grit. As a 7th grade wrestler, he was on the C team, which means he was the 3rd string. As an 8th grader, he was on the B team. He was a 2nd string wrestler. As a freshman, the spot was his. He went undefeated on the freshman team, on a team that was among the best freshman groups in the state. As a sophomore, Wes made the varsity lineup, had kind of an up and down season. Early January, he gets knocked out of the St. X Invitational, not placing. He came off the mat, really upset, said, "I'm not going to lose again." And he made it all the way to the district championship as a sophomore before he lost again to a kid that ended up finishing 4th in the state. It was an outstanding, legendary statement that he made that we talk about all the time in our wrestling room. My favorite story about Wes, and Wes will remember this well, we run a drill. We used to run a drill called Shark Tank where we put random kids out in different weights, and we put a fresh man on them every minute for 6, 7, 8, 9 minutes. So we wear those guys, the varsity starters out. Well, there was one guy in Wes's class, great group of guys. They used to give Wes a lot of grief all the time. They'd call him Superstar. And Wes never said a thing ever to them when they did that. And I said, the one guy that was always doing it, I won't say who it is, but I said, "Here's your shot, Wes. He's all yours. You got him the whole time." And Wes got to go out there and just put the wrestling clinic on him for the entire time. And the young man knew exactly what I was doing, and he knew what was going on, and he took it graciously. And nothing. It wasn't like fisticuffs. It was just wrestling. He went out there and he got to get after him, which was great. It's one of my favorite stories about Wes. All of these accomplishments aside, Wesley Taylor is even a better human being. After college, he came back to his hometown and got involved in everything immediately. He's been a Harrison Youth football coach for years. When there was a Harrison Youth track program that was founded and they needed a head coach, Wes was the guy that took on that job. Wesley has also served as a Harrison Youth wrestling coach for several years, managing coaching multiple days per week, as well as coaching competitors all day Sunday at youth tournaments. From November to March, Wesley, he's there. Steady Eddie, man. When you need Wes, he is there. Hard worker, dedicated, honorable, gritty, tough as nails, and best of all, he's a servant leader. Those are not just adjectives, that's who Wesley Taylor is. I'm proud to call him one of my athletes, and I continue to be proud of the man that he is. So please join me in welcoming Mr. Wesley Taylor to the 2025 class of Harrison High School Athletic Hall of Fame.
Crying already. Thank you. First off, I want to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, because I wouldn't be here without him. I want to give thanks to everyone for coming out, for celebrating this night with us, with all the inductees. I want to thank Dave Metz and all the Hall of Famers, the Hall of Fame committee, those that I've been looking up to for years. Jeff Kelly, Adam Sellett, you see him on the wall in the wrestling room. I'm tough, but this is hard. I just want to say thank you to the ones that have been there from the beginning, for growing up, for learning hard work. My parents, Bonnie and Bob Taylor, they gave me the work ethic, the hard work, that blue collar that you know Harrison is about. I'm butchering this bad. As I look out to all of you, you've been a huge role in my life, a huge role in a lot of us here. It's an honor and a privilege to be called a Hall of Famer. What is a Hall of Famer? It's all the people that are out here. It's all the people. Golly. It's all the people that put in the work, come time and time again to practice, to days after practice working on studies after school, Lord. And Lord, I thank you for that. I'm way off topic. I want to say thank you to my parents and just that hard work and starting in the fields, pushing a wheelbarrow behind my dad in a cornfield. Seeing my mom go to multiple jobs as a young man, I mean, so hard that, sometimes she would write the wrong name on my paper to sign off on at school. And I want to say thank you to my brothers and sisters, Justin, Joey, Teddy, Sammy, and Savannah, that they picked up that work when I wasn't there, when we had to get things done at the house. And I thank you for that, and believing in me when I went off to college. I want to say thank you to my grandma, and instilling that hard work from the farm, and starting my journey in the belief of Jesus Christ. Lord, I'm just mixing it all up. I want to say thank you. He's not here today, but a person that brought me to practices multiple times is Robert Dorfline. He's a big role model of mine, and I was able to look up to him and see his name on the wall in the wrestling room, and that's a privilege. Many of my coaches are here tonight, from the two coaches that started it, Dave Sellett and Dan Fetty. Started very early out here on this field. It was awesome. I mean, where I started to where I came. Dirk Dugan, Vance Reed, Amy Burwinger. Well, it's not Burwinger no more, but was my throwing coach in junior high. But see, I told you I wouldn't say it all. I was a three-sport athlete, football, wrestling, and track. Coach Oz was a big inspiration for me. Was my line coach, was a very soft-spoken guy until you got him on the field. But he believed in you. I just want to say thank you to him. He taught me a lot about just things in life. I want to say thank you to Coach Menzie. I hear you'll hear him here shortly. And Mr. It looks like a day on scholarship at UCLA. Greg Zuller, something he said, it's a little cold today, but it does still look like a day on scholarship at UCLA. It's nice and sunny out. Now I want to talk about two of the guys that, changed my life. And showed me the most amazing sport in the world, wrestling. First sport ever made, the toughest sport hands down. The reason why I love it. Chad Dennis, our head coach, he's been head coach for 20-something years. And just one amazing kind of, Coach Dennis told you about it, but it's a memory of mine that I did lose and got knocked out of the St. X Invitational sophomore year. But they came to me and Coach asked me what I was doing. I was sitting in the locker room and he told me that I'm a better wrestler than I'm wrestling because he believed in me. Because he knew what hard work I put in. He knew the effort that I put in, and then I told him I wasn't going to lose again, and I didn't until I lost to a guy in districts. But that stood out to me very, very much in my walk with life, and I use that to this day. I also want to thank Chris Baird and the hard work, the effort, the times that he would challenge me to do that extra 20 stand-ups on the wall, to put in the extra work if I want to be on the wall in the high school, to be on the podium at state tournament. But I want to just thank everyone for coming. I got so much more written down. But it's harder than it looks, guys. I would be in trouble in a sense, but if I didn't say thank you to my rock now, Melissa Taylor, my wife, my 4 kids. One of them's not able to be here because he's on a mission trip, and my wife Melissa, Isaiah that's not here, Malachi, Zane, and Micah. I just want to say thank you. Say thank you to everyone that came out. Hopefully I didn't butcher this too bad. I knew it was going to be hard. Thank you so much. Thank you to our school, our high school, Mark Mybers. I've gotten to work with him. He's doing great with the school. Thank you to Dave Metz for putting this on, and Cindy. Gotten a lot of emails, and he's helped me out a lot along the way. Thank you.
I would like to just echo the words of Chris Baird when he talked about what a great person Wesley Taylor is, and obviously Melissa, the 2 folks that I've been able to work with directly for our youth track and field program, which Mr. Menzies started, which feels like about 10 years ago, and they were instrumental in keeping that going. I remember the day, I think one of us called, and I'm like, what do you think? He's like, well, I'm kind of busy. And I'm like, sounds like you're signed up. And he coached track for a couple years at the youth level, so I can't thank you guys both enough for that. Our next presenter coming up here is actually the one and only, we just spoke of him, Mr. Scott Menzie. Come on down.
Thank you. I'm honored tonight to be here to help to induct Annie Robin. In writing this speech, I was looking over my notes from our track night in 2010. This was Annie's senior year, and I'm trying to find a proper way to encapsulate her season and her career. And one of the things that I wrote down was that if in the future I had an athlete ask me what would it take to be great, that I would tell them the story of Annie Robin. I would tell them that greatness does not happen. The athlete has to desire it, has to understand what it's going to take, and then go out and put that work in. So I'm here tonight to tell you the story of my friend Annie Robin and what it took for her to be great and get to this stage tonight on her induction into the Harrison High School Athletic Hall of Fame. I remember the exact day that I met Annie. The high school was hosting an activity fair for 8th graders, and each sport and club had a table set up on the indoor track in the activity center. I had some posters and uniforms and some track equipment, including some starting blocks, and I distinctly remember her trying out the blocks. And after watching her then and watching her 8th grade season, I knew that she was going to be an elite athlete. But I was told she's a softball player and you'll never get her onto the high school track team. Well, I literally spent 1 full year of my life trying to recruit her onto the track team. and I think it came down to a last-minute decision, but she did come out. And it's just wild for me to think about how different my life would have been if her decision had went the other way. But here we sit 19 years later, and I'm extremely honored and proud to introduce her. When I think back to Annie's career, she was a fantastic athlete, and I think she'll go down as one of the best all-around athletes in the history of the high school. She was good at everything, and it all seemed to come easy for her. Things that were hard for other people came natural to her. She had good speed, developed great strength, she was very tough, great coordination, and was highly intelligent. She was completely committed to the team and to her craft. She was an unselfish teammate and leader, and above all else, she was highly competitive. She just did not want to lose. She would find ways to mentally beat people, find ways to get an edge by not talking to her opponents or isolating herself from them. She knew that when she walked into a meet and began warming up for the pole vault, which was her signature event in the track, that she was going to win, and every one of her competitors knew that as well. One example of her competitive drive occurred during her sophomore year. We were at a big citywide meet, and often at big meets, the pole vault takes forever. So much so that the entire meet is done except for the vault. And the stadium has mostly emptied. It's about 10 o'clock at night, it's pitch black. The entire meet is boiled down to just these last two athletes. And it's her against another vaulter from Mason, who she kind of had a little rivalry with, and she decided that she didn't like her, even though she probably didn't know her. And again, this just is a way to get a competitive edge. And this girl's teammates started to line up along the side of the pole vault runway to watch the competition. So I walk over to Annie, and I kind of wanted to rile her up a bit to see how she'd react to a little bit of pressure. So I asked her, what do you think all these Mason girls are doing coming over here? And her immediate reply in a totally serious and deadpan manner was, they are here to watch me kick their teammates' ass. And sure enough, she did. So the competitive fire was there, but the trait that stands out the most to me is Annie's incredible motor. She was such a hard worker, and I think this was one of the secrets to her success. Whether it be at practice, in the weight room, at meets, or putting in extra work, she had a monster work rate, and she was always ready to go and never tapped out early. She never let anyone outwork her. Annie wasn't just a great track athlete, she was a setter on some of the most decorated volleyball teams in Harrison High School history. During her sophomore year, the team was FABC champs and ranked 9th in the city. And as she and her teammates' skills matured, so did their accolades. Her junior year, the team had a perfect record, 10-0 without losing a set in the conference. They were ranked 5th in the city, and for the first time in school history, they were ranked in the state, number 18. During her final year, they were once again perfect in the conference, picked up a rank of 4th in the city and 10th in the state, and were sectional and district champions and regional qualifiers. Not only did Annie help this team to great accomplishments, but as an individual, she was a conference first-team selection and ranked 2nd in the state during her senior year in total assists and assists per game, and set 5 school records. Coach Amy Boranger described Annie as the driving force behind the most successful seasons in Harrison High School history. Annie's vision and leadership were undeniable. She ran the offense with precision, often making split-second decisions that set her teammates up for success. Even though she was playing through injury, her determination and commitment never wavered. Her track and field accomplishments put her on the Mount Rushmore of girls track and field athletes at Harrison. They include 2 trips to the outdoor state meet in the pole vault. Her mark of 11 feet 0 inches was, in this event was 4th best in the Cincinnati track and field history at the time it was set. At the state indoor track and field meet, she placed 4th in 2009 and 6th in 2010. And here's a great trivia note. At the 2009 meet, she beat a girl named Katie Najat. 12 years later, Katie would win the Olympic gold medal in the pole vault at the 2021 Tokyo Olympics and was world champion in 2022 and 2023. How many people tonight can say they beat a gold medalist? Now, the girl did no height, which helped a little bit, but Annie still beat her. Annie was a regional champion in the vault in 2010. She won this on a clutch vault on her final attempt at 11 feet. And she was on the regional award stand for the vault on 2 other occasions. But she wasn't just a one-trick pony. She also qualified to regionals in 2 other events in her career, the 300-meter hurdles and as part of the 4x400-meter relay. She was district champion on 3 occasions, twice in the vault, and once on the second leg of the most thrilling 4x400 meter relay that I've ever witnessed. Shout out to Brittany Hall. And she was also the district meet record holder in the vault. At one time, Annie held an incredible 7 school records, matching Hall of Famer Karen Grimm for the most ever by one track athlete. These records included the vault, 2 hurdle events, and a member of 4 sprint relays. 15 years later, she still holds 5 of these school records. Oftentimes, people get the wrong impression about track athletes. They just run, right? How hard is that? But there's so much more to it than that. The hurdles in the pole vault, and later she even did the shot put, are highly technical. They take a special set of skills. Not everyone has the coordination to hurdle. Very few people have the speed, strength, gymnastic ability, body coordination, fearlessness, and special type of crazy to pole vault. These events take hours of practice, and they take a technician to be great at them, and Annie possessed those skills. While listing off those accomplishments make for an incredible career, they don't tell the story of the journey to get there. It's full of ups and downs, and a lot of wondering, at least on my part, if she'd ever be able to reach her potential and make it to this stage tonight. It's a story of toughness and perseverance and a complete and total commitment to becoming the best that she could be. When she makes it out to the track during her freshman year, I know she's going to do great things. I can see it. Things start off great. She's excelling in the hurdles in the vault. She's on relays. But days after breaking the school record in the pole vault, we find out she has a stress fracture in her back. That shows how tough she is to be able to perform under those circumstances. But she was done for the season, and it was an abrupt and cruel end to the season, and she has to watch the rest of it from the sideline on with a back brace on. Sophomore year, we start over, and she starts grinding, putting that work in. Weightlifting in the off-season, attending pole vault camps, competed in indoor meets during the winter. During the outdoor season, she starts attending pole vault practice on Sundays at Coach Rick Kristoff's house. Most local vaulters know Coach Kristoff, he's sitting in the back there, as the guy with the pole vault mat in his backyard. Over the next 3 years, she'll give up her Sundays to go to Coach's house, and under his guidance, her growth in the event increases by leaps and bounds. But she gets about to the same spot in the season as the year before, and this time it's a hip injury. She has to stop running altogether, and we focus on the vault. She manages to make it to the regional meet and gets on the medal stand with a 7th place finish, and that's nice, but I feel like we have been robbed of seeing what she can really do. Junior year, the grind begins again. Weight room, she completes a full indoor season, and practicing the pole vault in the dead of winter is a little tricky, so we have to go down to UC to their indoor facility. So she does a normal team practice, does the workout and the weights, and then we strap the poles to the roof from my car and travel down to Clifton, usually with a stop at Subway or Frisch's for a quick dinner. And she has a second practice that just consists of vaulting. So she's practicing from 3 to 8 a couple days a week. Just incredible work ethic and dedication. We head into the outdoor season. Surely she's going to get a healthy season, right? No. Beginning of the year starts out great. She's become so dominant in the vault that most of her competitors are already out of the event before she even begins. She starts to dabble in the shot put with Coach Greg Zuliger. She's cruising right along and then re-injures her back, but she just slaps on a back brace and manages to finish the outdoor season with a trip to the state outdoor meet. Senior year, finally, everything falls into place. She stays relatively healthy, although her ankle did click the entire year when she was running, and the track world in Southwest Ohio is finally going to see that she's more than just a pole vaulter. All that time and effort and hard work finally pays off as she goes out and has perhaps the best all-around season in the history of the track program. She scores an amazing 240 points. Many people might not understand the scoring system in track, but let me tell you, that's a lot of points. And most meets, she's doing 4 different events. And I'm not talking about 4 sprint events. She's doing the pole vault, a hurdle event, the shot put, and a relay. She's excelling in 4 distinct disciplines. This requires finding the time to practice, to perfect technique in the hurdles and the shot put, to get interval training in, to stay late to devote time to the vault and get to the weight room. And at meets, she is bouncing from event to event. And here's where that big motor really comes into play. It's nonstop for 4 to 5 hours. And not only does she pull that off, she excels. She broke her own record in the vault, set a new school record in the 300 hurdles, and she and her teammates decided to rewrite the school relay record book. Annie, along with Brittany Hall, Emily Adams, Sammy Cliff, and Allie Myers, broke 4 school records in relay events, all of which are still standing today. She finally got to run at the league meet and in the postseason. She was district champion in the 4x4, as I mentioned before, runner-up in the 300 hurdles, district and regional champion in the vault, on her way to capping a brilliant high school career with another trip to the state meets. Truly a legendary season. I asked one of Annie's volleyball and track teammates, Brittany Hall, to describe Annie, and she said that she embodied the perfect Harrison Wildcat, determined, coachable, a team player, and always driven to be the best. We shared times of joy, fatigue, strength, hardship, and success, and I could never have asked for a better teammate and friend during my time at Harrison. I'll always remember Annie's drive to succeed and the willingness to put her work and time into achieve her goals. Her commitment and perseverance was beyond what most athletes were willing to do, and her toughness allowed her to overcome some challenging situations. She would have been a pleasure to coach even if she had been the worst athlete on my team because of her energy, her attitude, personality, and competitiveness. She brought those to each and every practice and meet. I probably have spent more time working with Annie than I have any other athlete I've ever coached. We took those trips to UC, traveled to indoor meets throughout Ohio and Kentucky, where I saw her almost rip her ear off at Kentucky. Those vaulting practices on Sundays. We spent so much time together at these places that other people thought I was her father, and they asked me how my daughter was doing. I happily put that time and extra time in because of the person that Annie was and is. I mentioned that her decision to do track changed my life. It's not only made me a better coach, gave me memorable moments and some of the biggest highlights of my coaching career, but gave me a lifelong friend. Annie's the type of person who's always there for you. I'm thankful that our relationship has extended beyond her track and field days with the Wildcats. With that, it is my great honor to introduce the next member of the Harrison Athletic Hall of Fame, Annie Robin.
First off, I just want to say thanks, Menzie, for literally the nicest thing I think anybody's ever said about me, so I appreciate that. I'd like to start by saying I'd probably be more comfortable like serving game point in match 5 or like even running the 4x4 right now than I am up here giving this speech, so I'll try and make it short and sweet. Growing up, I can always remember going up to the high school. I would watch my older cousins play sports or even my brother wrestle in a tournament. And I'd be running around the halls. You always stop at that trophy case. It's so cool, all those baseballs and volleyballs and the big trophies. And I'd be looking at those, but I always got kind of sidetracked looking at those quote-unquote old guys. Their pictures with the whole list of accomplishments, and I always thought, wow, those guys must have been really good. And I never thought that one day my picture might be right next to them. So flash forward to today. Sports, athletics, all of that has been a huge part of my life growing up, as you might have heard from Menzie there. But most of my favorite memories growing up, especially at the high school, took place on some kind of sporting event or court. Looking back, there were many highs, but also many challenges. It wasn't always easy, but those moments taught me the most. They pushed me to grow, to evolve, and to never stop striving for excellence. Some of those memories go way back to elementary. My first She Rocks, Pop Rocks at St. John's basketball for being an outstanding, player in practice. I got my She Rocks, Pop Rocks. That was like the biggest thing. Striving to achieve the Presidential Fitness Award at Miamitown Elementary with Miss Ostrander. It was always too hard for me to do that sit and reach, but if I got past that, the rest of it was cake. Playing in the World Series in Panama, Florida with Mr. Souders and the Future Stars. That was always a good time. Doing crazy knee pad spins. Like when we were in junior high, we were like out of control little girls spinning around like crazy with Miss Cutter and Mr. Conrad, or like stomping out the We Will Rock You. And we were like screaming it. I don't even know that we were singing it, but it was so much fun in the bleachers. Pole vaulting at Christoph's backyard, as mentioned before. Always a good time on the Sunday afternoons, pole vault in his backyard. running in sometimes torrential downpours at track meets, and even an occasional blizzard. Ashley has a little bit to say about that. Beating Mercy not just once, but twice in the same season, and getting to play volleyball, our varsity volleyball alongside my little sister. That was an amazing year to play with my little sister. Finally getting that stinking 300 hurdle record. I worked so hard for that, and it seemed like it was never gonna come, but I finally did get that. That was a huge accomplishment. Watching Brittany Hall, as mentioned before, finish that race and get that Lakota girl. Nothing tops that high of screaming her on to the finish line. Traveling to Texas and Minnesota with the Lady Hawks for the national volleyball games. Ice baths and heart-to-hearts with Megan in the trainer's office. We always needed those. Standing on top of that podium at regionals and watching Menzie, dish out the awards, that was pretty top. Wednesday nights at the UC, doing the indoor track, volleyball summer camp, youth summer camps with Miss Berwanger, going up to Cedar Point. That was always a great time, and I did win my free tickets by playing cornhole. I won free tickets to Cedar Point. So I'm better than, at other things too, not just volleyball and track. Those are just a few things. I could go on. I could literally list fun, exciting times in my life, playing sports and just different things, but those are a few just to name. So many core memories, so many opportunities, everything that I've been blessed with, but it's all thanks to the wonderful people that are in my life that have helped me get there along the way. To those that are here, just know how much I am truly thankful and happy about the impact that you made on not only my athletic career, but also my life. And I need to hand out a few thanks, obviously. So for my teammates that are here, I didn't invite everybody, but for the ones that are here, wow, was it fun. So much fun. Every victory we celebrated together, every defeat we learned from, every challenge we faced together formed a foundation of the person that I am today. And you all played an important role in my success, and I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge that. From pushing me at practices and always holding each other accountable at games and meets, it was you all that made me better each day, and I just want to share this honor with you. To my coaches and teachers, because there's way too many to name everybody, thank you all so much for believing in me, not just the athlete I am, but the young lady you were molding me into. Thanks for pushing me beyond what I thought I was capable of and teaching me lessons that go far beyond sports. From elementary through high school, each and every one of you had made an impact, and I'm so grateful for your time, your effort, your support, your guidance, your friendship over the years. To my husband, who I don't think really quite understands my love for sports or why I would want to spend all day at a track meet or play sand volleyball in the blazing sun, thanks for at least putting up with it. To my amazing family, thank you. You guys deserve all the credit for instilling the competitive drive, the work ethic that helped shape the athlete I was. You've been there through every high and every low, and Mom, you're always cheering me on with toe touches. From practicing in the yard to driving cross-country for tournaments, without your love, support, and sacrifices, there would be no way I could have accomplished a half of what I did. This moment is as much yours as it is mine. So my final thank you tonight is to the Harrison High School Athletic Hall of Fame Committee for this amazing night, for this recognition, and for officially making me one of those great old guys.
Yeah, Annie to this day still comes up and volunteers for our track meets where she's done everything from, heck, work the concession stand, sell tickets, do the shot, do the long jump, do the pole vault, or just stop by to say hello. So again, Annie, congratulations and thank you for all you do still for Harrison High School Athletics. Our next presenter, Mr. Mike Brossart.
Hi, my name is Mike Brossart. I teach PE at the high school. I've been the swim coach at Harrison High School since we started it up back in 2001. So it's been a nice long stretch of 23 years of seeing swimmers come through the high school, and it gives me a great privilege to be here tonight to introduce our first swimmer into the Hall of Fame. My introduction speech will be just about as fast as Alex was in the water, so unlike some of these other ones, I'll make this short and brief. So Alex, I first met him back in, as an 8th grader. He came over to the high school, and he was one of those cocky little kids at first who quickly told me, hey, I can beat all those records already. I was like, all right, so we'll see where this goes, you know. So I didn't know, where this was going to go. Some of these kids, that I hear talk, are not what they say they are. Or if he's just as good as he says he is, that he might be going to a powerhouse private school like St. X and be a part of many state titles there. Well, thanks to Alex and his parents, so thank you, Mark and Pam, he came to Harrison, and he did exactly what he did. He broke every record that we had except for the 100 butterfly. I'll bring that person up in a second. Alex, he dominates our record board. He still holds 7 of the 8 varsity records and still part of 6 other team records. He's also part of all 4 relay records that we have in the 200-400 free relay and the 200-400 medley relay. He also holds the most career points on the Harrison boys swim team. His other accolades include FABC Swimmer of the Year in 2011 and 2012. Like all these other sports, swimming is one of the best, Ohio has one of the best states of swimming. So for him to do some of these other things are just remarkable, especially down here in the Cincinnati area. He won the 50 free in sectionals in 2010. He won the 50 free in districts in 2012. Winner of the 50 free at the Classic, which is not the state meet, but that's almost more difficult to do than anything of the other states. So he won that in 2011 and 2012. He qualified in the 50 free at state in 2010 and 2011, and then he did it again in the 50 free and the 100 free in 2012. His highest finish at the state meet came in 2011, where he finished 8th place and made the podium. I got to bring this up because Mr. Menzie brought this up. Alex also beat an Olympian. He beat Zach Apple early on in Zach Apple's career. So that was a big moment, and he came from Edgewood, I think. Beyond his personal success, Alex was an incredible teammate. If Alex had not come to Harrison, we'd be hearing about Nick Kling, who's here tonight. Nick was a standout swimmer as well. Those two became a dynamic duo, pushing each other to greater heights. And then both Alex and Nick shared their knowledge with their teammates, and particularly with Drew Kinzel and Robert Lane, who also were part of that record-holding relay team that still has that record. Swimming is very difficult, especially at Harrison. We don't have our own facility. Over the years, we practiced at Taylor until Taylor built a new school without a pool, and then Lawrenceburg took us in, and we've been there ever since, but it's late nights, every night. It's difficult for the parents, the swimmers, so when kids even do 2-3 years of swimming, I'm very happy that they've done it. Alex did it obviously all 4 years, and swam club as well. I say this because a lot of kids, even at Alex's level of ability, get burnt out and they don't continue their career into college. Alex continued. He swam at The Ohio State University for 2 years before transferring to University of Cincinnati, where he finished his swimming career with the Bearcats and earned his degree in pharmacy. Alex's impact on Harrison swimming extends far beyond the records he sets and holds. He inspires his teammates, elevates the program, and even helps us coach during some of his winter breaks he had during his college years. He still attends our alumni meets where he still blows everybody out of the water. And everybody just looks at him like, how is he doing this? And that is a great motivation. And this past year, we had probably one of the best boys swim team that we've had in a long time. And they all go back to Alex and Nick and Drew and these guys who were part of that team that year. So with that being said, it gives me a great honor to introduce our first swimmer to the Harrison Hall of Fame, Alex Hutchinson.
Thank you, Coach Brozart, for that introduction and the kind words. And good evening, everyone, and thank you all for being here. Most people might assume that swimming success is solely an individual endeavor. And broken down to its most basic elements, there is some truth to that assumption. After all you really need to compete is a suit, goggles, a clock, and a pool. We see it every 4 years. Swimming becomes the focus of the sporting world at the Summer Olympics. Athletes who were previously unknown rise to Olympic stardom and become household names. Michael Phelps, Mark Spitz, Katie Ledecky, and many others. We watch as a singular athlete stands atop the podium, and we celebrate their gold medal performances. Outside of the Olympics, the sports that we watch most commonly are team sports, with team successes that depend on the performance of a collective. On the surface, swimming may seem like it's a truly individual sport. However, from my personal experience, I can tell you that success does not happen in a vacuum, and I would not be speaking here today without the support of so many people. First and foremost, I would not be here without the love, support, and encouragement from my family, my mom, my dad, and my sister. Nothing says you love your child more than driving your kid to practice at 4 a.m., sleeping in the car while he trains, driving him to school, driving back down to work, and then doing it all over again after school. My family have been present at almost every swim meet I've competed in, and until I could drive, almost every practice I attended. Their constant support made my athletic career possible. In addition, I was fortunate enough to have my sister not only support me in the stands, but as a teammate in high school and on our club team. I cannot thank them enough. Another very important group of people that I would like to thank are my teammates. Although swimming events are completed individually, they were there every day in practice to push me and encourage me. They motivated me through the sets that wore me down and challenged me to swim a little faster, lift a little more, and give that extra bit of effort that I could not achieve on my own. I'm fortunate enough to have some of my teammates here who swam on relays with me, Nick and Drew. And we became the first ever Harrison relay to make it to the district championship. This is one of my favorite memories of swimming for Harrison, and without them, it would not have been possible. Lastly, every successful athlete needs a great coach, and I was lucky enough to have been coached by the best. Coach Brozart believed in me from day one and pushed me to be the absolute best swimmer that I could be. Coach Brozart also instilled in me the team mentality that's needed to succeed in high school swimming. He often reminded anyone that would listen that although I could win all the individual events I swam in, the team could not win meets on those successes alone. It took a team effort to win meets, and under his guidance, our team won often and recorded program high finishes at our conference, sectional, district, and state meets. While this is far from a comprehensive list, so many people have supported me in my athletic career that I would challenge anyone to say that swimming is truly an individual sport. My success is their success, and I'm proud to have represented them well, both in and out of the pool. I've learned so many valuable lessons through swimming that still influence me to this day, and it all started with the support of my family, teammates, friends, and coaches. It is truly an honor to be inducted into the Harrison High School Athletic Hall of Fame, and thank you to all who have helped me along the way.
I don't know if Alex remembers this or not, but I believe it was his senior year when he was at state. Myself and Christian Tracy drove to Canton in a blizzard. And Christian Tracy's probably 1993 two-door, might have been an Escort, I don't know. It was terrible. Whatever we were in, we were crammed in, we drove all the way up there. And I had not ever been to the state meet. I didn't know anything about swimming. Where we got up there, and within 50 seconds it was over, and we hugged Alex, and Christian looked at me and said, now we got to drive 4 hours home. And we did. But it was an amazing experience. It was one of my favorite memories, obviously. Congratulations. Next up, we've got Mr. Chris Johnson.
Good evening. First, I want to congratulate all the inductees tonight. This is a fantastic evening. You're all very much deserving of your accomplishments. To the Hall of Fame Committee for allowing me to be here tonight. As you mentioned, my name's Chris Johnson. Until this past year, I have been a high school soccer coach at Harrison for 23 years. So tonight is kind of a culminating activity for me as well. Tonight I have the honor of introducing a truly remarkable young man, an athlete whose dedication, talent, heart left an unforgettable mark on the Harrison soccer program, on me and my family. Shane Page has always been the definition of a student athlete, committed, humble, relentless in everything he did. To say that he was a multi-talented would be an understatement. Over his 4 years at Harrison High School, he excelled at not just one, not two, but 3 sports. Let's start with basketball. For 4 years, Shane had been a key part of the varsity squad. According to his coach, his court vision, his leadership, and his unshakable work ethic earned him First League All Honors in All City. He was a clutch three-pointer, and his lockdown defense set the tone for his team. In the spring, he brought that same fire to the baseball diamond. He was a 3-year varsity player for Harrison baseball, which says a lot. He showcased an incredible versatility, playing third base, second base, shortstop, center field, and even stepping up and pitching when needed. During that time, he was a 3-time league champion and a first-team all-league player. That consistency doesn't come by accident. It comes from dedication, grit, and countless hours of practice. This brings me to the sport that I truly feel Shane demonstrated his greatness. Harrison Athletics has a very long tradition of success in many sports, except soccer. It's fair. You can laugh at that. Actually, I was just talking to Coach Vance back there. We have multiple head coaches, and the requirement was basically attendance for a while there. So again, this is a culminating achievement here we have. As they say, success breeds success, but it's also true for the opposite. If you were to ask Coach Brozart, who was the head coach when I first got hired on, that when Shane entered, he entered a program that did not have this rich history, he would attest to that. The team had never won a league championship, let alone they'd never won more than 10 games in a single season. This is what makes Shane's achievement and his teammates so impressive. They did something and started something then that had never been done. Going into Shane's senior season, we were cautiously optimistic. The newly formed Southwest Ohio Conference presented us with an opportunity to do something that had never been done before, to win a league championship and to hang a number on that banner that sat empty in the activity center. We had a great group of guys, and a couple of them are here today with Andy Kerr and Thomas Fay, and we were ready to go. Shane had already had a great start to the season. We started at the Mason preseason tournament, where he shined in the senior showcase game, scoring 3 goals and being named MVP. That season, Shane was a force to be reckoned with 24 goals, 10 assists, and 58 points. This is the first time a player in Harrison history has recorded double digits in goals and assists. One of my favorite moments of Shane actually came from a loss that year. We were playing Kings at home in our very nice outdoor baseball field down a hill. We've come a long way. We went down 2 goals early, and I had a feeling like it was going to be a long night. That's when a ball was sent through, and Shane was chasing it. There's one thing you should know about Shane. Shane was fast. But when Shane was in a foot race for a ball, Shane was really fast. When Shane scored his second goal that night, it was literally Shane versus 4 Kings defenders. After that goal tied us 2-2, Kings coach, who was one of my friends, jokingly walked over, because our sideline, we were literally 2 feet apart, and he said, "Hey, when does Shane graduate?" Ultimately, we lost 3-2, but it's moments like that that truly demonstrate how special and different Shane was. He earned first team All-League and was named the Player of the Year in the Southwest Ohio Conference, and he capped it off by being recognized as second team All-State, a prestigious honor that reflects just how dominant he was at the highest levels of competition. At the state All-League meeting, Shane was praised by multiple of the top coaches from around the city. Walnut Hills coach, and this is where it hurts, he made a comment that said, "This kid's the real deal. Don't hold the fact he's from Harrison against him. He's a stud." That became my driving force that day. He was the first Harrison soccer player to earn all Southwest District and all state honors. He ended his career with 47 goals, 15 assists, and 109 points, and they still rank amongst some of the tops in the league history. In the end, his 2012 team finished with 15 wins and 3 losses, and they succeeded in capturing the first ever league championship. But it's beyond the stats and accolades that set Shane apart. It's his character. He led with integrity, always lifting his teammates up. He was a role model to younger athletes and a true example of what can be achieved through hard work and passion. On a personal note, Shane is one of the main reasons my son chose to play soccer and to play for Harrison. There's no doubt that Shane had an impact on his current team and their success. His team made Harrison soccer relevant. And we told them, if you want respect in this school, you have to earn respect in this school. Shane's impact has been felt far after the final whistle, buzzer, and pitch. We're incredibly proud of everything that you've achieved. As I said to Bob Heil at the Harrison Press at that time, and it still rings true today, there's only one Shane Page. It is with great honor that I present to you our first ever boys soccer Hall of Famer, our number 21, Mr. Shane Page.
All right. Wesley cried for me, so I don't think I'll have to do that now. I was telling my wife last night that she read my speech or whatever, and she's like, "Man, this is really good." And I'm like, "Pretty good for an IUP student, right?" And it was all AI driven. I had typed in AI, and it typed everything for me. I was like, you know what? I can't do that because that's not me. So there's going to be some grammar issues going on here, so just bear with me. But yeah, thank you for everyone for being here, and I just can't believe I'm finally here. Being inducted to the Harrison Hall of Fame has been a huge goal for me since I can remember. I remember growing up and seeing all the Hall of Famers in the Activity Center and saying to myself, one day I'll be on that wall, and I truly thought that. Coming full circle now at age 30 and being inducted means a lot to me and something my kids can be proud of when they go to high school and knowing their day as a Harrison Hall of Famer. I wouldn't be standing here today, though, if it wasn't for the talented and hardworking guys that I've played with on each team and each sport. It truly is all about team effort, and I owe each of the guys a thank you. My soccer team, that 2012 team was legit. Guys like Andy Kerr, who I grew up all my life, being my best friend, playing soccer our whole life. And him and I just had a connection like no other. And he knew exactly where I was going to be at, knew exactly where he was going to be at. He always hit that perfect ball to me. He always knew Shane was going long, he would hit it. And same thing with Thomas Fay. Thomas would hit that long ball to me. We played since we were 4 years old. He's the reason why I can't breathe out half of my nose. He broke my nose in soccer, 4 years old. So, but for that team to believe in me and allow me to be in that position to score a winning penalty kick, which I never took. Andy Kerr always took that, and I was the last guy in line to take the winning goal, and I hit it. And that meant the world for our team, and made us the first, ever league title for Harrison history, and it was special. So thank you. Basketball is a tough one for me. I transitioned from a freshman team to varsity, and it felt overwhelming at first, stepping in with a whole new group of players. But I stayed committed, worked hard, and refused to give up. Eventually, I earned my spot as a varsity point guard for the next 3 years. During my senior year, though, things got challenging again as many of my fellow seniors were cut from the team. I was a lone senior, them guys I grew up with playing. Even though they weren't playing anymore, they became my biggest supporters and showed up to every game. Their encouragement meant the world to me and made the experience even more memorable. It taught me the value and the importance of having a strong support system. Baseball, we were unstoppable. Every year winning league, every year everyone was getting better and stronger and just felt like we couldn't be touched. The culture on that team for 4 years I was there was awesome. It was truly a brotherhood. One of the most unforgettable experiences we've had as a team was our trip to Panama City. That trip wasn't just about the sun and sand, it was about building the kind of bond that makes us unstoppable. We bonded over beach games, late night basketball games in the parking lot, and just simply enjoying each other's company. Those moments solidified our trust and friendship, reminding us that we're not just teammates, but we're family. To all the people who helped me along the way to get this honor, like my mom, for all the hours of her taking me to the games and practices and making sure I was had the best shoes or cleats on, and make sure I was fed the right food before a game. She made so much sacrifice now as a parent. Myself, I don't know how she did it. Not to mention, she was on the first ever Harrison soccer team in history. Thank you, Mom, love you. My dad, man, I can go on and on about this guy, just life lessons in general that he has taught me, and he's the sole reason I am who I am today, and the knowledge he has given me to succeed in life with my career. All those nights, him coming home from work, even with a thrown out shoulder, cussing at me when I throw the ball over his head, he still would toss with me. My dad was always my biggest supporter. He wrote me something that I read before each game, and it goes like this: hard work does not guarantee success, but a lack of hard work guarantees failure. Pride is earned through the knowledge of knowing I have the determination to succeed. I have the ability to make things happen, make players respect this. Learn opponent's weakness, and they'll become my strength. Installing fear into my opponent from the first play. Dad, thank you, and happy birthday. My sister, Jessica Page, huge thank you for allowing me to beat your record. You had the most goals in Harrison history until I came along 5 years later. Jess, thank you. You paved the way for your younger brother to come along and continue the Page dynasty. You're always there supporting me and ready to back me up when I got into a scuffle. I still remember hearing you at 9 months pregnant when I'm getting beat down by the whole team of Northwest, and you yelling, come down the stands, 9 months pregnant. So, thank you. My Uncle Chris, thank you for the Saturdays going to the gym. You had a family of your own, and you came and helped me on my big man game. Because of you, I was truly able to get to that next level in basketball. You were able to help me get straight to the basket and finish with a layup with the defenders right on me. You had your own kids and family to take care of, but you always found the time to help me when I needed it, so thank you. Mr. M, man, this dude's incredible. Thank you for being my teacher and the best mentor growing up. You have the biggest heart, and for you to play recess with us at 5th and 6th graders playing football and basketball, you truly were my best friend. Being my coach in community basketball was one of the most enjoyable moments of my life. And I can't forget you taking me to an old nighter with church group, and me and you whooping everyone's ass till 4 o'clock in the morning in basketball. So, thank you. Brenda Ostrander, the best gym teacher there ever was. Thank you for always pushing me to be better, whether it was in the mile or the shuttle or the wall sits, which again, I hated too. You always pushed me and stuck with me all through my life, so thank you. Coach Andy Banks, thank you for being the best ASA teacher, even though I should have never been in there. I seem to never be able to get away from you as I played for you in junior high football and you as my coach in basketball in high school. You always supported me and always gave me that extra opportunity to get better, like giving me my own key to the Harrison Junior High. Coach Souders, again, this is another one I can go on and on about, but again, thank you for teaching me the real baseball and teaching me hard work. You never once gave me the job. You made me earn it. I was so pissed as a freshman when you weren't looking my way at all. Baseball was the only sport I didn't receive 4 varsity letters, which I think I should have since I pitch ran for you, but But I wasn't ready as a varsity player as a freshman. I wasn't mature enough, I wasn't strong enough, and just flat out I couldn't hit. And them dudes on that team were a lot bigger than me. The next 3 years, though, I learned a lot. Because of you, I was able to get better, stronger, smarter, and I was finally able to hit the ball. I remember I was so excited when I hit my first home run over the fence at Lawrenceburg. We were beating them 9-0. I remember flying around the bases, waving my hands like I was flying, and come to the home plate, I jumped and slipped, bust my ass. I just remember you looking at me, and you yelled at me, and yelled at the whole team to sit our asses down. At that moment, I learned respect in class, and that's what you teach your players. I respect the hell out of you, Coach, and thank you for always allowing us players to come to your personal home to just talk or play paintball in your woods. You made a dynasty here at Harrison High School, and I appreciate you. Thank you. Coach Johnson, thank you for believing in me as a freshman, even though you never played freshman on the varsity level. For me to come into tryouts freshman year and you not knowing anything about me and then gave me full control to do what I needed to do on the field was awesome. We had a rough team my freshman year, and we were getting killed, and I remember going into sophomore year, no one respected Harrison soccer. No one respected Harrison soccer at our own school. But I felt something clicked after Northwest, the fight that I was in. I felt that was the moment everything came together for us to go win league for the first time in Harrison men's soccer history. It was the best experience of my life. You put Harrison men's soccer on the map, and to see what you accomplished, and for your son to come along and beat my all-time goal record is something special, especially when he came over and did a Dougie in front of me this past year when I watched him. Thank you for being a brother, a mentor, and the greatest soccer coach I ever played for. To my high school sweetheart, Kelsey Nicole Page. Jesus. Thank you for being my side since I was 15. Now as my wife and our 3 kids, you've been my rock through it all. I know I'm a lot to handle, and I'm grateful that you're here every step of the way. I can't wait to continue to do life with you the rest of my life. As I look ahead, I encourage every aspiring athlete, both in this room and beyond, to remember that while pursuing individual excellence is important, it's a spirit of teamwork that creates a legacy. Embrace your teammates, lift them up, inspire them, and together strive for greatness. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about personal glory. It's about memories created and bonds formed along the way. Thank you, Harrison Hall of Fame Committee. Thank you, Mibers, and everyone who's been a part of my journey here at high school. Johnson already said it, but my family makes fun of it all the time, but there is only one Shane Page.
I was asked this week about Shane Page, and they said, "What do you remember?" And I said, "He was lightning in a bottle." That's how I described him. And I will say, Shane said it here, and Coach Johnson and Gavin Johnson, who was our best player the last couple of years. There isn't a Gavin Johnson if there isn't a Shane Page. So congratulations again, Shane, on being our first soccer Hall of Famer from the men's side. So congratulations. Before I bring up this next presenter, I do want to say just a couple of things here. First and foremost, thank you to Cindy Noyes. And I say thank you to Cindy and Pat and their family because they've been instrumental. I've gotten to know the family over the last decade that I've been in this position, meeting people here in town, speaking to family members. I actually just met Glenn. We just met at the high school just a couple weeks ago, but a very small, tight-knit community, and they have done nothing but embrace the ideas and the thoughts that we've had at Harrison High School for the athletic department, my crazy thoughts as well. And they've also been instrumental in my family and my oldest son attending Rose-Hulman Institute of Technology. Jacob is a Rose-Hulman graduate. He is an electrical engineer. He lives in Texas. Jacob's right outside of Dallas right now, and he would not have been there or even had that on his radar had it not been conversations with Pat, who talked about what Rose-Hulman and that engineering field could do for Jacob. And Jacob spoke to that to this day. My junior, going to be a senior, is thinking about Rose-Hulman as well, and Pat has become a friend of mine, somebody that I can call, text, email, send a picture to at any time, and also ask for advice. So I can't thank you guys enough for what you've done, Cindy and Pat. I'm going to let Dave come up here and wrap this up, but our next presenter is going to be Dave Metz as we honor Mr. Pat Noyes.
Thanks, Mark. First of all, let me congratulate Wesley and Annie, Alex, and Shane. All of you have great accomplishments, and I know you've probably been waiting a while to get to this night. As Mark alluded to earlier, the Hall of Fame has, and didn't really get in details, and I won't either, but has a set of bylaws on how we progress, who is eligible, and when they become eligible. So you've waded through that process, and your awards are very merited. I got to know several of you over the last 3 months through text, emails, phone calls, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I hope you will become active in the Hall of Fame, as we need to continuously add people who will participate in the growth of the Hall of Fame. Next, I'm going to talk briefly about if I want to be sleeping somewhere in another room tonight, I need to talk a little bit about this lady. She did not, she shared considerable effort, most of the effort, in terms of the communication with Hall of Famers, with invitees, the accounting on the process, and working through things such as the little things like name tags, up till as late as 4 o'clock today. We still had people asking for lists of which one of our invitees are coming and so forth, and organizing the tables and such, and she did a phenomenal job with that. She's my partner in business. She's my partner in biking and in golf, and she's my wife for 47 years. She's mother of 2 sons and a daughter, and a grandmother of 4 granddaughters. She personally orchestrated most of what went on here and so forth with the name tags, as I said. And even as late as 3:30 today, she was running out buying 170 cookies and bringing them here tonight. Last summer, I was fortunate, I don't know about that, I was in charge of, I ran the 50-year reunion of our Michigan team, and which was our 50th anniversary, and she performed the same role. By the end of that weekend, you would have thought she was a team member the way the fellows reacted to her. She often says to me, "Dave, what are you going to do to help me?" And I respond always saying, "Hell, someone's got to be in charge." She's highly paid for her work, and that's why I'm still working at age 72. Would you please help welcome my wife, Cindy. From time to time, and it's not an every year thing, the Hall of Fame committee elects to honor someone who makes significant contributions to the athletic program at the Harrison. This year, it's really a duel, although a lot of what we'll talk tonight about briefly is Pat's accomplishments, but it's truly a team effort between Pat and Cindy Noyes. Pat and I became good friends very on at St. John's grade school. He's a year younger, and we actually met fighting over a beanbag toss at recess. And we began playing youth sports together, and his mom and dad often transported me to and from practices and games. Pat grew up on Short Road, where we had a lot of sandlot baseball games, and in his side yard, I recall, and they had I think it was a aluminum siding or whatever, and if you hit one off the house, it was an automatic double, but it was frowned upon by mom and dad. I can recall the day, and I need to clarify this, Tim corrected this, I thought it was him. The day we're playing in the side yard, and here comes his mom, they open the car door, she gets out of the car walking her newborn baby, it happened to be Jeff, and to the house, and we all got out and dropped our gloves, walked over to say hi to the new member of the Noyes family. At Harrison, Pat was an outstanding athlete. In his senior year, Pat was elected one of the tri-captains. He was quarterback of the football team. He was Cincinnati Enquirer Player of the Week at one period in that season. He was honorable mention All-League. In baseball, he was All-League as a third baseman, led the team in hitting. Pat attended Rose-Hulman Technological Institute in Terre Haute, Indiana. He played 4 years of football, still holds school record, including most touchdown passes in a game. He was co-captain for 2 years, honorable mention as an NAIA Division sports leader. Pat at Harrison was known for his scholastic ability. He graduated in '72 as a salutatorian. He was voted by his class most likely to succeed. I think he probably has accomplished that. He was a member of Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Pat went on to attend Rose-Hulman, one of the country's premier engineering schools, on a presidential scholarship. He graduated with a mechanical engineering degree cum laude in '76. Pat delivered the commencement speech to the 2016 graduating class. Pat, a generous supporter, as you have seen, at Harrison started several scholarship endowment funds at Rose-Hulman. After graduation, Pat started his career in the oil and gas business with Exxon Oil in Houston, Texas. Pat later became the CEO of Stroud Energy and led a major turnaround for the company, which led to the sale of the company for $450 million. Pat has since started his own oil and gas companies 3 times and has successfully sold them 2 of the companies for significant dollars, and is in the process of his 3rd undertaking now. Pat married Cindy Crocker, a classmate of his, and also cheerleader and supporter, his high school sweetheart. And they married while Pat was at still in Rose-Hulman. They recently celebrated their 50th wedding anniversary, a golden anniversary. I can remember my grandparents had their golden anniversary. They were like old. And I thought, Pat, really? Your golden anniversary? They're heavily involved with their Christian church. They're one of the founders of the church. They recently they both have a great love for Harrison, and more particularly Harrison High School, where they met. In recent years, they've made the largest single donation in Harrison School history, in excess of $1 million. Led by the efforts of Mark Mibers, these funds have been primarily used to help fund the stadium track and football. This includes the finest state-of-the-art video scoreboard perhaps in the Midwest. The stadium has been named after Pat and Cindy. With all their success, they have never forgotten where they came from. Please welcome with me Pat and Cindy Noyes.
Wow, thanks, Dave. Like I say, you're not far from that 50th. Hey, wow, what an impressive class. Wesley, I never thought I would hear of any wrestling accomplishments that approached my buddy Jeff Kelly, but you're pretty close, if not exceeding him. Now, I got to ask a question. There's some buddies of mine sitting in the back from class of 72 that knew Jeff. I just wonder, in your prime, if you could take him. Do you think you could? I wish he were here. We'd put it on right here. Oh my goodness, what a class. Wesley, Alex, Annie, Shane, man, I'm impressed. What a bunch of athletes we're raising here in Harrison. Hey, and as much as I appreciate the honor here and everything that Mark, Dave, the Hall of Fame committee has done, this night here isn't really about me. It's like the previous inductees have said, there's people in their lives that have been as important to their upbringing and their accomplishments, and the same holds true with me. And so if you'll indulge me, I'm going to try to get through this quickly also, but I'm going to start with my siblings. And my oldest brother, Mike, sitting right there. Dave mentioned I was salutatorian in a class of 72. So I've always considered him to be smarter than me. And right sitting there is valedictorian, class of 69. So he one-upped me right there. But more importantly, if it wasn't for him, I don't think we'd be standing here tonight. Certainly I wouldn't be, because as a sophomore in high school, struggling to find my way, I was on my way to becoming an architect, much like one of my favorite Seinfeld characters. And somewhere along the way, somebody suggested to me, you don't want to be an architect, you want to be an engineer. I didn't even know what an engineer did. I thought they drove trains or something, you know. But at the time, big brother Mike, who I admired and respected, always thought was smarter than me, was attending University of Cincinnati as a chemical engineer studying. And so I talked to him about this and said, what do you think? What should I be doing? And after a brief chat with him, I decided if it's good enough for him, it's good enough for me. So thanks for the good career advice, Mike. I think we'd be in a different spot if it wasn't for that. Sticking with the boys for just a little bit, because we've got a large family. There's 6 of us, good Catholic family. Younger brother Tim, I always considered him to be a better natural athlete than me. And that kind of drove me along the way, because we all need to be driven. We have to have something in front of us, a goal to achieve or whatever. And that was one that I had with brother Tim, was just to keep ahead of him, even though he was 4 years younger than me. So thanks for that, Tim, setting the sights there. Appreciate that. Younger brother Jeff, youngest brother Jeff, the one that Dave talked about, my mother being born when we were playing that Sandlot baseball game. That man made a public profession of his faith in Christ years ago. And I would submit to you, since then, he has been as vocal of an advocate for the kingdom purposes and causes of Christ as anybody I know. So Jeff, I just want to thank you for being a good example to me. Something I can strive to be a better witness in my walk too. Shifting over to the in-law side of things for just a minute. Mark, you stole so much of my thunder. I was going to brag about my brother-in-law, Glenn, here. You've already heard he's a member of the Lawrenceburg High School Hall of Fame. Let me fill in a little bit of the blank spaces there. He's a Harrison alum, goes over on the dark side and across the state line into Indiana and teaches and coaches at Lawrenceburg High School for 38 years. 9 years as an assistant football coach, 17 years as the head football coach. While they were assistants, they won the state championship while he was an assistant, won the state championship, also went back to the state championship, fell a game short. While he was the head coach, he took them to the state championship. And above and beyond that, he was the head wrestling coach, the head varsity girls basketball coach, the head girls tennis coach. I don't know when he had time to do anything else, but he spent a lot of time. And why do I tell you all this about Glenn Crocker? Because he was an example to me in a way that he doesn't even know. Glenn Crocker, for those of you that know him, never played college football. He never played high school football. He was a tennis player, good one at that. But it just shows to me and demonstrates to me what can be accomplished by someone that maybe doesn't have the same skill set, maybe the same experience as other people in his craft, but he desired to be the best that he could be, made the sacrifices, persevered through thick and thin, and accomplished what he did. So thanks for being that example to me, Glenn. I think some of that rubbed off, man, and you don't even know it, but I appreciate that very, very much. Probably the most important person in my family, and the 4 inductees all mentioned their spouses. Dave's already mentioned Cindy Lou Crocker, the young lady that I married. She's put up with me now for almost 52 years. That 50th was a few years ago. And so let me just share with you when I say put up. In my industry, to achieve the kind of goals that we all desire to, you have to travel around. You have to move around. You have to undertake a lot of different jobs because my business, there's a lot of different technologies that are applicable. It's not just drilling a hole in the ground and oil comes out. We like to think it's that simple, but it's not. So all throughout my career, when I've had the dreams of developing this fantastic career like everybody does, she has never complained once about moving around the country, dragging her hither or yon, whatever. She's been very, very supportive through it all. And I just want to give you one little example to show you what kind of a pickle I put her in at one time. January 1980, our 3rd son is born. He's got 2 older brothers, a 2-year-old named Kyle. Joel was the one that was born in 1980. 2-year-old brother named Kyle and a 5-year-old brother at the time named Kirk. So in January 1980, that's wintertime up here. Houston, yeah, kind of a little bit winter. I make the announcement to her, hey, I'm making a career move. We're moving. We're going to Columbus, Ohio. I'm leaving Exxon, going to a company that's called Mitchell Energy she didn't even know about. And again, very supportive, never complained once about it. And we get up to Ohio in the middle of winter, and I did not realize at the time, didn't do my diligence, I guess, enough on this new job. I didn't realize at the time that I was going to be traveling. And when I say travel, I don't mean just an overnight stay here or there where, I'm gone for a night. I'm telling you, I'm gone for 2-3 weeks at a time. She's got a newborn, a toddler, and one in kindergarten. She's like a single parent because I'm gone, like I say, 2-3 weeks at a time in the middle of Lake Erie on a drilling rig or maybe on a production platform in the Gulf of America. Okay. Wasn't sure y'all would get that one, but anyhow, never complained, never once. Now, I'll give you the opportunity now. Any complaints? It all worked out pretty well, I think. So I also want to mention at least 2 friends here tonight that have had a big impact upon my life, my persona, if you will. One of them is that big guy that was just up here, Dave. He mentioned how long we've known each other, and he's been a good friend all these years. But that man has taught me a lot about dealing with adversity that he probably doesn't even realize he's taught me this. For any of you that know Dave very well, you know that his childhood was, I'll just say, challenged a little bit, different than mine for sure. And, you know, adversity is just something we deal with in life. Everybody faces it. And it's a matter of how you deal with adversity, how you handle it, that matters. I've once said in a speech, that commencement address that he mentioned I gave to Rose Holman graduates, that your actions determine your reputation. It's your reactions that determine your character. That guy has a lot of character. And hey, Dave, thank you for teaching me a lot about how to handle adversity, not just in my own life, but on the football field as a leader too. So thank you very much for that. Another friend I want to mention, one we've already talked about, my buddy Jeff Kelly. And you might think, Kelly, what could he have taught you? Because those of you that know Jeff, he's a big cut up. But I'll tell you this, Jeff Kelly taught me how to be a real competitor. And not just in football, just in life. That guy doesn't like to lose at anything. I mean, it can be a game of checkers you're playing with him, or a game of horse out there, or just who's the first one going to get out the door. It's just Jeff Kelly. And I will tell you this, that he told me some time ago that Patty said, you can have a lot of talent, a lot of raw ability, and it's only going to get you so far. You have to have the heart. And that man has the heart of a champion. I think that guy does too. And so does Annie, and so does Alex, and so does Shane, and probably every other member of this Harrison High School Hall of Fame. But Jeff, he couldn't be here tonight. He's off in Hilton Head having a good vacation, but I thank him very much also for that. Now, I want to mention one other thing quickly here. A lot of you probably don't even know this. Some won't remember, so I'm going to refresh your memory. As a freshman in high school, I actually attended Elder High School. Uh-oh. Well, look, there was a reason for that. You know, as a teenager, I was like a lot of people, kind of had a little rebellious streak in me. I don't know what I was rebelling against. I had a pretty good life, but had a little bit of that kind of streak in me, and I thought I needed that kind of education, that kind of discipline in my life. But I'll tell you, my freshman year, the first Friday night that Harrison had a home football game, we lived on Short Road, not far from the school. I said, I'm going to that game. Went over there, stood outside the locker room, and the Harrison boys break out of the locker room, the doors fly open, and who's leading the pack but number 12 and number 70? And these are my buddies, and I kind of make eye contact with them, and I knew right then and there that I'd made a mistake at attending Elder High School, and I needed to correct that. So the next year I did. I transferred to Harrison High School, helped inaugurate that new building, which now is how many years old? 52 years old, whatever. But it was at that time that I got back into playing football. I didn't play at Elder, didn't have any way to transport myself back from practices. I wasn't driving yet. So I'm competing for the quarterback position at Harrison High School with Tony Pepper and Greg Bybee, and it's 2-a-day practices now. And we're out there in the August heat, and quarterbacks, the three of us are down here throwing balls to the receivers. They're running their routes. And down at the other end, for some reason, were the coaches. And I let one fly, and Alan Pfister, I remember this pretty plainly, kind of ran a nice little post pattern, ran under it, made a nice catch. And one of the coaches from the far end of the field, I hear, "Who threw that ball? Who's throwing the ball like that?" And I thought, uh-oh, what did I do wrong? And so fearing retribution about my throwing mechanics or the fact maybe I didn't lead him enough or didn't put enough air under it, I turn around and I look at my leader, Tony Pepper, captain of the football team. What should I do? He said, "Hey, don't look at me, pal. He knows I didn't throw it. And Bibby's left-handed. So you better fess up." So I holler out, "That was me, Coach." Coach Steve Safford was the guy that hollered that out. And I'm still fearing retribution, and all he says is, "I like that. Keep it up." That was the beginning of my relationship with Coach Steve Safford. Ended up, he became head coach my junior year. That was the famous 1970 football team, which y'all had big reunion here not long ago. And it ended up never beating Tony Pepper out, the all-state quarterback. But in my senior year, I was fortunate enough to be the quarterback of the team. And at the end of our high school football season, my senior year, Coach Safford knew that I wanted to be an engineer. Told him, my brother Mike said it was okay, so I ought to do that. So I was on my way to becoming an engineer, and I wanted to play football. So it was because of him, and there you are. I was looking all over for you. Sitting right back there, that believed enough in me to put my name out there, because back in those days, hey, there weren't these camps that kids go to these days. If you didn't have your coach speak up for you and say, "Hey, I think this kid can play," you weren't getting any offers. But he put my name out there, and the rest is history. I've told you before, I owe a lot to you, Coach Safford, because without you putting my name out there, I never would have went to Rose-Hulman, probably would have been attending UC and working for Cincinnati Gas and Electric or something. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But thank you, Coach Safford. I appreciate that very much. So in closing, I was real appreciative to you, Wesley, you talking about, your relationship with Christ and such. I just want to tell you that I made a public profession of faith a long time ago too. And my life had changed in so many ways since then, all for the better. God has blessed Cindy and myself in ways that I never could have imagined. And so, I need to really give proper thanks to him tonight, and I do so. But I want to tell you this too. I think my life can be summed up in a quote by a man named John Newton. Now, John Newton, you may not know offhand. I'm going to tell you a little bit about him before I tell you the quote, though. Because John Newton, back in the late 18th century, early 19th century, was a slave trader. He captained ships taking slaves from Africa to various countries in the Commonwealth. He's a bad dude. And on one of those voyages, his ship was off the coast of Ireland and got caught up in a storm, was tossed and tattered, nearly broken in two, and John Newton feared for his life. And he prayed to God at the time that the storm would ease and he would be spared and, be able to continue living his life. And it wasn't long after he prayed that the storm did calm. They eventually landed on the coast of Ireland there. And this was the beginning of his conversion experience to Christianity. He went on to become a cleric in the Anglican Church at that time, a preacher, good man, became an abolitionist against slavery, and he also became a songwriter. And, we talk about music, Glenn, and I forget who it was. We were, Elrod or somebody, I don't know. We were talking about rock and roll earlier. But this kind of music is the kind of music that is much more meaningful. So he wrote a song that you all probably know. It's probably the most well-known Christian hymn. It's called Amazing Grace. And so John Newton wrote that song, and if you know the lyrics of the song, he talks about how he was saved as a wretch from his sin by his faith in God. And so John Newton had a quote, and this quote is really relative to my life also. So I'm just going to tell you what this quote is. You can take it for what it's worth, but it sums up my life too. And so John Newton's quote was this, and I'll say this in closing. He said, "I'm not the man that I ought to be. In fact, I'm not the man that I wish to be. But thank God, by his grace, I'm not the man that I used to be." So with that, I thank him, thank the Harrison Hall of Fame, Dave, Mark Dole, wherever you are, the rest of y'all, very much appreciate it. It's been a great night. You got a great organization here. Thank you so much. I appreciate your attention.
Before we close here, we're going to bring up our superintendent, Mr. John Hamstra.
Good evening. Congrats to our 2025 Hall of Fame inductees, Wesley, Annie, Alex, Shane, and thank you, Pat and Cindy as well. Some words that stuck out tonight that really resonated, and I'm going to go quick. The grind is real, grit, determination, better human being, servant leader, committed, beat a gold medalist and Olympian, elite, competitive drive, top work ethic, toughness, perseverance, dedication, and the perfect Harrison Wildcat. And I would say tonight we honored 4 perfect Harrison Wildcats, as well as some amazing members of the Hall of Fame. Thank you to our teachers and our coaches, to Mr. Mybers, for legacies that you're leaving in generation after generation. Thank you also to the Hall of Fame Committee and the Metzes for stepping up and stepping in to make this night happen each and every year. Well done, thank you, congratulations, and drive safely.
If we could get pictures of those that were inducted tonight, I think typically we have those folks come up along with any other Hall of Fame members if you guys want to make your way up here. Or get pictures throughout the night. Congratulations and enjoy the evening. Thank you.